Welcome back, pioneers of freedom, colonial and revolutionary America. Long, long ago, in a land that was still finding its way, there lived a group of brave people who paved the path to freedom. This is a story about colonial and revolutionary America, a time when people stood up against injustice and tyranny, lighting the flame of freedom that still burns bright today. Imagine a land with dense forests, vast plains, and roaring rivers. This land was America, a place of untamed beauty and boundless potential. But as people settled into this new land, they brought with them the customs and traditions of the old world. They built colonies along the eastern coast, each with its own unique character and way of life. The year was 1607, when the first permanent English settlement was established in Jamestown, Virginia. Picture a group of brave colonists, their hearts filled with hope and anticipation as they stepped onto the shores of this new land. They faced challenges from the very beginning: harsh winters, unfamiliar landscapes, and the struggle to build homes and communities from scratch. As the colonies grew, so did their desire for self-governance. Imagine the colonists gathering in town squares, discussing laws and regulations that affected their daily lives. They cherished their sense of community and their right to have a say in how they were governed. Yet, across the ocean, a distant power, the British Crown, held sway over the colonies, making decisions without truly understanding the needs and wishes of the people. Over time, tensions began to rise. The British government imposed taxes and regulations on the colonies, even though the colonists had no representation in the decision-making process. Imagine the frustration of the people, who felt that their voices were not being heard and their freedoms were being taken away. They longed for the rights that should rightfully belong to them as English subjects. One of the most famous acts of protest was the Boston Tea Party. Imagine a group of colonists dressed as Native Americans, their faces painted and their hearts determined. They boarded British ships in the Boston harbor and dumped chests of tea into the water, a defiant act against unfair taxation. This event showed the world that the colonists were willing to take bold steps to defend their rights. But it wasn't just about tea, it was about freedom. Imagine the colonists coming together in what became known as the Continental Congress. Delegates from different colonies gathered to discuss their grievances and plan a course of action. They realized that if they wanted to secure their rights and liberties, they would need to stand united against the British government. And so, on a warm summer day in 1776, imagine a group of men gathered in a room, pens in hand, ready to change history. They wrote the Declaration of Independence, a powerful document that proclaimed the colonies' intention to be free and independent states. This was a declaration of their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, a dream that would shape the course of the world. The Revolutionary War followed, a time of courage, sacrifice, and unwavering determination. Imagine the ragtag colonial soldiers facing the might of the British Army, their spirits unyielding, even in the face of adversity. Among these brave soldiers was a leader named George Washington. Picture him on horseback, his gaze fixed on the horizon, as he inspired his troops to fight for the cause of freedom. The war was not easy, and the colonists faced many challenges. But imagine the thrill of victory when they secured a crucial ally, France. With French support, they gained strength and resources that would tip the balance in their favor. As battles raged on, a turning point came at the Battle of Yorktown. Imagine the American and French forces joining together, surrounding the British troops and forcing their surrender. The war was over, and America had won its independence. Yet, the story of colonial and revolutionary America didn't end with the signing of a treaty. The framers of the new nation faced a daunting task, creating a government that would secure the rights of the people and prevent the abuses they had suffered under British rule. Imagine them gathering in Philadelphia for the Constitutional Convention, where they debated and crafted a blueprint for the future document we now know as the United States Constitution. The Constitution was a remarkable achievement, balancing the powers of the government and enshrining the rights of the people. Imagine the debates over individual freedoms, the creation of 3 branches of government, and the decision to elect a president. The framers wanted to ensure that America would be a land where people could govern themselves, and where the rule of law would prevail. One of the most important debates centered around the Bill of Rights. Imagine the delegates discussing the need to protect individual liberties, freedom of speech, religion, and the right to a fair trial. These rights were like the foundation of a great building, ensuring that the new nation would be built on the principles of freedom and justice. As years turned into decades, the young United States faced challenges and changes. Imagine the struggle to define the relationship between the federal government and the states. Leaders like Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton had differing visions, yet their debates helped shape the nation's identity and the balance of power. But America's journey was far from perfect. There were conflicts over issues like slavery, with some states advocating for its abolition, while others held on to the institution. Imagine the pain of those who fought for their own freedom, while others were still denied theirs. The struggle for equality would continue for generations, a battle that would shape the country's conscience and its future. As time marched on, the ideals of freedom and liberty continued to guide America's path. Imagine the stories of brave individuals who took a stand for what was right, even when it was difficult. People like Harriet Tubman, who risked her life to lead enslaved people to freedom through the Underground Railroad, and Susan B. Anthony, who fought for women's right to vote. The legacy of colonial and revolutionary America lives on in the stories of these pioneers of freedom. Imagine the hope they carried in their hearts, the sacrifices they made, and the changes they brought about. Their journeys were not always easy, but they believed in the promise of America as a land where people could shape their destinies and pursue their dreams. And so, dear reader, as we close this chapter on colonial and revolutionary America, let us remember the courage of those who paved the path to freedom. Let us honor the visionaries who believed in a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. As you walk through the streets of America today, remember that every step you take is a testament to the struggles and triumphs of those who came before, the pioneers of freedom who believed that a better world was possible. The end. Thank you for watching. Please give us a high rating and subscribe to our channel.